But he is there. I can't hear you. Well, I can hear lots of clicking, but I can't hear Russ. No, I can see you mouthing, "Can you hear me?" But I can't actually hear you, and I don't know if anyone can hear us. John Yates is saying no sound. Now, it's interesting because there was sound up until about 3 minutes ago.
Are we there now, everybody?
Oh, there we are.
Everybody effing happy. Great. Couldn't be more. John Yates. Hello, Russ, Liz, and Neil. I don't know what's going on with Neil. I'm going to try him one more time. Come on, Neil.
Hello, live.
There he is.
What are the scenes like outside Buckingham Palace, Neil Long?
They're absolutely incredible as I sit here outside the... I'm not at Buckingham Palace, I'm at the Hampton Hub, and the scenes are pretty nice.
The what?
And Neil, I hope you're not driving. Why have you got your seatbelt?
The Hampton what?
Hampton Hub, and no, I'm not driving.
What in the name of God is the Hampton Hub?
It's an amazing community centre where they do shows, they do food, they do food bank, they have a rehearsal studio, they have counselling.
Wow.
It's just the most amazing place run by some amazing people. So I popped over to see them this morning because
decided that it would be more exciting if you looked like a sort of American YouTuber sitting in your flatbed truck about to talk about Joe Biden and whatever the twat's name
yeah,
is.
I thought so. I thought I'd go out on location for you today.
This is great. On location, it's marvelous. Now,
but I've seen the inside of your car before. Can we see some other location?
No, we want to see Neil's little face. Let's go to New York City, Manhattan. Elizabeth Green, hello from New York. Hi, Elizabeth Green.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Scotty is saying Longie. And he's going Lizzie. And John Yates is giving us all the thumbs up. And Fat Scotty's back again with Russ. Right, I want to pay tribute to somebody. Crazy name, crazy gal. Hi, Russ, Liz, and Neil. Hello to Eve.
Hello, Eve.
Hello, Eve.
And hello, Fat Scotty.
Did you just call her Fat Eve?
No, Fat Scotty. I said hello to because he said hello to me.
That's your first public warning, baby. I want to pay tribute to somebody. What's he doing now? You driving? Are you an Uber driver in your spare time? This is what you're doing.
Would you like
to change your name to Mohammed? Mohammed Long.
I could do you careful. I could do you a report driving home if you like.
No.
You don't want him as an Uber driver, Russ.
Oh my God, this is hilarious. From the Capital RV. Hey, guess what, Fat Scotty? I got an invitation today. I have no idea what that was. No idea what that noise is. 50 years of Capital Radio. 50 years of Capital Radio. We're having a party in October. Looking forward to it. Let's go to the south of Spain. Morning from Spain. I wish it had been granted with no sound from sod off, Verby. Bloody cheeky bastard. I knew him since he was a baby. His dad and my dad were best buds. Malcolm Verby. I'll have a 12x8 and you get it if you live in northwest London. Now, can I finally pay tribute to somebody who I only found out yesterday, and it shocked me rigid, and I had the most terrible dreams accordingly. Louise Clifford, a dear friend of mine, died.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Cancer. On top of everything else, died, but on top of which was, I'm going to switch my phone off because this is annoying me. I got really upset. I had no idea. She'd gone very quiet, and I want to tell you about her. That is because, oh, for God's sake, she was incredibly brave. She had something like 40 operations, major operations. she could barely walk, but it never stopped. She spent a lot of her time in a wheelchair. Was the funniest, wittiest, wickedest person that I knew. What is that noise? Are you reversing or something?
No.
What's the noise then?
I don't know. It's not me.
Of course it's you.
Take the key out the ignition.
Do you know? Leslie and Jones. Well, hello, Liz. One of those voices of the night. What the hell does that mean? Hello.
It's a little bit of
08998 number, is it? What is that?
If only. No, it's not that interesting. I read the news on various radio stations for the state broadcasting
You're right, it really
channel.
wasn't that interesting. Anyway,
Yeah.
so Fat Scotty said, can I have a guest invite? No, because he doesn't talk like this. Can I have a guest invite being an anorak and chair of the Midlands branch of the Capital Fan Club? We can't even take partners because it's completely oversubscribed. And we have to pay now on the dues in October the 16th. Anyway, can I go back to Louise Clifford?
Your dear friend, yeah.
A lovely, lovely, lovely person. And on top of everything that she had, she got sodding bastard cancer, and it's taken her. So full of life, no pun intended. Such a wicked sense of humor, a fantastic PR person. We always laughed like drains when we saw each other. We laughed, we joked. She never, ever, ever complained. And you know, I get a paper cut. It's the end of the world, right? And she, Christ, the stuff she put up with. Anyway, she's reunited, if you believe in that sort of stuff, with her adored parents. She loved her mum and dad. And that's that. So Louise Clifford, we salute you. An amazing person. But you know what, Neil and Liz, you'd have loved her. I mean, she was just so bloody funny. And is that Ken using Morse code? What is it? We don't know. What have we got? Luke Newman. I lost. Liz, would you care to read this? As you're now part of the show, which I'm delighted about, by the way.
Thank you.
You can
Somewhat
join
unexpected.
every show, but you can join every show. Would you like to read it out?
Sure. This is from Luke Newman. I lost my sister 8 years ago today of cancer at the age of just 44. That's no age at all.
Jesus.
I'm thinking of happy times with a smile on my face today. I know she would want that. Luke, absolutely. And our condolences to you. I was always told the grief never completely goes away, but it gets easier.
No,
and you're at a point where you can think of nice memories and things. So I hope that gives you comfort.
We've covered, Liz. I did it with Phil Dave, and I think we've done it with you, Longie. That grief, and we could dedicate like an entire month of the Daily Show just to grief. I think I'm in a book called, which somebody sent me, Lizzie Pickering, When Grief Equals Love. It's called. It's a great book. It's a very, very interesting book. But grief, it never goes away. The whole thing that, time is a great healer. Bollocks, it is. No, it isn't. The only way I've described it, I've described it before, and I'd love your input first, Liz, then Neil, and then everybody else, of course. In deep grief, it's like having a splitting migraine. You want to smash your head against the brick wall to make the pain go away. It's just, it's all consuming. And then it goes away to a horrible, bad headache that really hurts. And then it goes away to a headache you can kind of deal with, sort of thing you'd take a couple of Nurofen for. Eventually, this is just my interpretation. I'm no expert, but I just get it. It feels, to me anyway, like a constant, distant background hum that's always there. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's always there.
It does.
I'm never free of it. Never free of it. Grieving for my father with prostate cancer, grieving for my mom with 16 years of Alzheimer's, and of course, grieving for my wife with breast cancer. So it never goes. And I think that when I got the news yesterday from my dear friend Sarah Staley that Louise Clifford had passed, boy, it triggered me. It was a shock, but it really triggered me. How do you feel? Let's start with Neil, because you went through bad grieving, didn't you, for your mum?
I was determined to come out the other side of it. I was determined to get better. Now, not everyone agrees with me on that, and I don't need them to, and I wouldn't try and persuade anyone to come round to my way of thinking on it, because it's not for me to mansplain to people on how they should or shouldn't be feeling. We all grieve, even if it's the same person we're grieving, we all grieve differently.
Totally different ways.
For me, I found the triggers. First of all, I'm enmeshed in it. It's just all dark. It's all dark all the time. And I was burnt out. I was quite unwell. When I talk on the show about my mental health having a dip a couple of years ago, this is what I'm talking about. It was all that time period. COVID was a minor detail, really, compared to this, to be honest with you.
Wow. So you were going, oh my God. So you were going through that in COVID, which drove us all round the bend.
Yeah. But I kept myself busy and did some crazy things online. So it was just fun and just to keep me occupied really more than anything else, and to feel like I was doing something productive. And I found the triggers got less intense, less regular, and less long. So in any combination, so I might get a trigger even now, but it would last 5 minutes, not 5 hours or 5 days. I might, or it might.
That is terrific.
Yeah,
that sounds horribly patronizing, but I have known you forever. It's not meant to be. That's
no, I didn't take it that way. Or it might be less intense. It might last a day, but it's a mild, to use your metaphor, it's a mild headache. It's not an all-consuming migraine. Less regular, less intense. Or they might just come. It might be intense, but I think, well, hang on a minute. This happened 5 weeks ago, not 5 days ago or 5 minutes ago. So it does get better, and I'm starting to get to the place, where I put it into context, which is, I suppose, the relationship I have with my grandma now, in the fond memory box. And it doesn't bother me, and it doesn't affect my life, apart from in a positive way, if that makes sense.
Do you think, I'm only saying this because I know you, and we're old pals. I never really liked him. Is this that... It's this. Are you really able to compartmentalize it? Is that a real thing?
I don't know, but I was so scared that I'd be stuck in the dark forever. I thought I need to bloody do something.
No. I gotta tell you, it's a grief counselling, bereavement counselling.
Sorry, you cut out there. You say you did, or I'm sorry, you cut out there.
I went to bereavement counselling.
Any good?
I'll try it again. I went to bereavement counselling, and I found it useless, absolutely useless, because I was in the very angry stage. You know, they go through the 5 stages of grief or whatever it is.
Elizabeth Kubler-Ross.
My anger helped me. You know, there's the old public image. I put this in a book. The old public image tune, anger, and the chorus goes, "Anger is an energy. Anger is an energy." And for me, it is. You know, some people just get angry and do stupid stuff. I channel that anger and I use it as a fuel.
That's a good way of doing it.
Forward.
That's a very.
But that's all I know how to do.
It's a very, I would call, conscious way of doing it, because some people just spew out onto everyone, and they're the people that think that they've got a problem with everything in the world, including you.
No, I never did that. But I mean, I felt boiling rage.
Oh, I do. I still do sometimes.
I still do.
Yeah,
but
and me.
Let's read. I want to come on to Liz in a sec. And Hatti,
I've got one more thing to say, if I may.
You can. Let's read this from Luke, because he's been kind enough to write it. So let's let us show our courtesy. Grief creeps up on you when you least expect it. Tell me about it. At least expect it. How happy I can be. I know it will never truly be 100%. Luke, it's like you read my mind. Because I've lost my sister and mum. Oh, Jesus. She was 54 when she passed away to ovarian. Oh, Christ. Well, that's no age. Jesus Christ. Let's go to New York State and just say hi to Asa. Hi to Northeastern United States over there. And what have we got here? Although I did get something out of grief counselling, cognitive behavior, Neil loves CBT. And Liz, your grief, because
I'm more of an NLP man than CBT, but fair enough.
Okay.
And actually, just on the grief counselling point, I was counselling generally as a rule, I was something quite reticent about, because as a child, I had a not great experience with counselling for a different reason. And I thought, no, I'd rather just have really good friends that I'm able to talk to, and family and things like that. And when Mum died, and again, like Neil, lockdown mostly passed me by. The first half of COVID mostly passed me by, because Mum was having cancer treatment, then COVID hit, then the treatment was paused, and then it was game over. And
oh my
and I
God.
felt like it was, her cancer, we were told, was not terminal. It was something that the tumor might not necessarily completely go away, but the treatment was working, and it was the sort of thing you lived with, and you think, right, okay.
Right.
But as I say, then the treatment was paused, and that was it. And so, if you don't have treatment, and you don't keep monitoring and managing it, then of course it's
I've got to deal. I've got to deal. A little. Right back.
Oh. That's interesting, because now I can't hear Neil at all. There we are.
If we're talking about emotions, arguably, just back to what Russ said, if you look at a kind of a scale of emotions with grief and depression on the bottom and utter joy at the top, anger is slightly higher. It's a more powerful energy than depression. Think about it. Depression is very lethargic. It's very slow. It's very insular. At least anger is more energetic. And if you can use it, I suppose, in an intelligent way, like Russ's, or a conscious way, you could call it clean anger, if you like, because everyone gets angry. It's what you do with it. Then it can be a useful thing. I don't think it'd be useful to be stuck in anger for the rest of your life. There are other emotions are available. One would hope.
Well, exactly. In terms of, trying to deal with Mum's passing and all, as I said, COVID was just in the background, because I was trying to help Mum. As I said, it felt like us against the world in terms of the lack of treatment and the doctors and some of the professionals and things like that. It was just awful. And then 7 months after Mum died, my cat died. And, when you just get to a point of, what have I done here? And I was very, very angry.
Oh, you see, this is, you've opened up a can of worms there. I think the most important lesson that I personally ever learned, and it really is my mantra, is if you say, why me? That is the beginning of the road to madness. I truly believe it. Because the real question, I've said this before, and I will keep saying it, is the real question is, why not you? Because life, if you accept that life is a shitty, random lottery, that's what it is. It's a random lottery.
Oh no!
And this is why this is why we don't stay in it.
See, Neil,
but it's in the moment. This is what raw grief looks like. This is how it was when Mum first died. There were a lot of issues. There was a lot of anger. But actually, what was interesting, and going back to my original point about grief counselling, is that the hospice that Mum was in, they're local to New Malden and Esher, where Mum was living. And so she was close to home, which was a mercy as well. That they scoop you up. It's like a wraparound care. So they didn't just look after Mum, they were looking after me as well. Despite all the COVID restrictions, I was able to be with her and go and see her every day and things like that.
Jeez, thank goodness for that.
Small comfort. But the moment she died, they were there. They were checking in. They were like, how can we help you? What do we need to do? Can you tell us the contact for this? And they were very helpful. And immediately it was like, we have grief counselling. We have one-to-ones and we have group counselling. Because there were still COVID restrictions, it was all online. And I'm still in touch with some of the people from the group counselling, because actually the first couple of sessions, it was all a bit tentative, and I'm looking at everyone on the screen and I'm thinking, bloody hell, they're at least 20 years older than me. I've got nothing in common.
Of course. Let's look at this. We'll come back to you in a second, Liz, because you've frozen. Azadon Brown from Northeastern United States
says, lost someone.
I've had a variety of losses, a couple of near-death experiences. Jesus. and other issues that stimulate grief and loss. For me, all deep pains and wounds leave a scar. Oh, AIDS, man. Absolutely. But we don't have to live in that event. While we can heal, the scar remains, and we may encounter phantom pains at times, but we can move beyond the depth of the original pain. That is true.
Yes.
We have to, otherwise we will never function as a person.
And coming full circle to what I was saying, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be functional again. I knew I wasn't functioning. I knew I had felt good in the past. I knew better feelings and thoughts were available to me. It was just a question of how to get them and to sustain them. And I do beg to differ. We're all entitled to our own opinions. I don't think life is a random crapshoot. I honestly don't. It's too intelligent. You look at the way things are put together and how things work and just the universe and everything else. I can't think that's a random accident. I'm not making a case for anything particularly metaphysical here. It's just too intelligent to be random. It just can't be, in my opinion.
I don't think it is. So interesting, isn't it? Because neither view is right, neither view is wrong. They're just views because no one knows. And one of the things
grief is a very personal journey.
Yeah,
no one's, and I think it was both Archbishop Welby and the Chief Rabbi Mervyn, the Chief Rabbi in the UK, Rabbi Mervis. They did a documentary during the course of the COVID restrictions, and they said everyone's grief journey is different, even if you're grieving the same person.
Oh, completely. Completely. And there's no right or wrong about this. It just is what it is. So, there's no point saying, well, this is the way. But I do, Neil, you think life's intelligent. I think life is utterly random and chaotic and ludicrous. I really do. Some people believe, oh, there's a great plan. There's a plan. It's all laid out. Well, really?
No, I wouldn't say that.
That's a waste of time.
It does affect you, and you do need to be able to move forward because you don't know when your time is up. So you need to make the most of it. And there's things with my mum's death that, she had her wishes and ambitions that she knew I was aspiring to and doing. And I'm still going to do those things. And I have already achieved some of those things. I'm glad that she was around for some of it. But equally, you just got to make the most of it. I feel now one of the things that I know has changed about me is I can't be bothered with other people's dramas. My circle of friends, my close circle of friends will say I'm the most kind and loyal, protective person, of my friends and my family, my close friends and my family. But other people's dramas, I'm just like, the worst has happened to me,
the best saying,
the
saying, Liz Saul, that I adopted, not my circus, not my monkeys. Not my problem. That doesn't mean you're heartless. It doesn't mean my friends and family are everything to me. Everything. My close friends. I'm not talking about people I know. I'm talking about my closest friends.
Yeah, your inner circle.
Who know the real me and I know the real there, not the public side. And my family are everything to me. But when people get dramatic on, they get all dramatic on social media and all this, I'm like, sod off, because I don't give a shit. It's not my problem. It's your problem. And I'm not being unkind. It's like, it's the way that if my friends reach out and go, I got a problem, I'm there in a heartbeat. And they're the same for me, without exception.
Yeah, but that's a rare privilege, and it's not something.
It is.
And it's not something that you would, and I've got people like that, but it's not something you or I would ever abuse. If I just rang them up for any old drama, it'd be, and I think it's a good time to, what I want to say to you, if you're watching this, either the recording or live now, and if you are grieving, I would say to you that it does get better. It does become less intense, less regular, and less long. It does. And it really is good to hear other people's who've been through it as well, because ultimately you're not alone. This is a shared part of the human experience.
Although the worst thing is, and it's like depression, you think you're on your own. You feel completely alone.
This is the two-pronged fork. Number one, with anything mental wellness or lack of related, you feel like you're completely isolated and you're the only one ever going through anything like this, and everyone else in the world is having an amazing time and succeeding beyond their wildest dreams apart from you. That's the first thing, which is not true.
Everyone's living the best life and your life is shit. Well, that's not the case.
That is certainly the second thing.
Let me jump in, Paul. Sorry, go on now.
The second thing is, it's a learning curve at the time you least need it. I had to deal with agencies that I'd never dealt with before, learn things I'd never learned before, that I had no need to learn before, that I had no business being involved with before. It just wasn't part of my life. And then suddenly you have to learn all this complicated legal, financial, and all this stuff. When the mind really needs to rest and heal, when it's grieving, it's not in a receptive state to learn these new things, and that can make it even worse. So I do understand. So don't try and do it all alone, and be open to help from the right people. Have the right people around you. There were some boundaries that I had to put in my life, and they're still there to this day, and they will remain there for the foreseeable, certainly, because you've really got to put yourself first here. You've got to put yourself here first.
Yes. You know, it's not being selfish. It's like functioning. You're good to anybody. Let's go through a load of comments here. This is from This is from Manhattan. Say that again, Liz.
I said you need to rest as well. Very often when you're stressed out and everything, I'm not sleeping, I'm this and that. And I found that I would go and lie down in my bed for 8 hours at night. I might not rest, I might not sleep, but I thought I'll read a book. I'm just lying down, I'm resting. And I found that really helps.
I can't do that. I'd like to, but I can't. Elizabeth Green in Manhattan. Any anger is directed at myself, not outwards. I get that, Liz. My father died when I was 15. Ooh. Took me 17 years to accept it and grieve. My mother was such a mixed bag. Well, I think we take out the word mixed, Liz, from what you've told me. I cry when you talk about your mothers. I can't equate with any of your feelings. It's a long story. Yeah, I get that. Let's dash up to Fife in Scotland to the marvellous Sue Sleep. Belated happy birthday to you, Sue.
Happy birthday, Sue.
Our very best to your son, Dave Sleep.
And hope you're on the mend and recovering.
Genius. Morning. We have news because we care. John Yates. When I got told I had cancer, I thought, why me? Oh, John, Jesus. Then I thought, I can get through this. I was very positive. I'm now 8 years clear. Oh, fabulous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Now, John,
fabulous
I
news.
John has a great attitude.
Yes,
that
John
is fantastic.
John has a great attitude, a great positive attitude, and I do believe, certainly in some cases, and the science would back this up, that a positive attitude does help. I'm not necessarily saying you can think yourself better and all that, but it does make a difference. I'm sure it does make a difference. Neil,
you're 100% correct. I'm not going to get to use your word metaphysical about this, but I think with life, a positive mental attitude just helps so much, because as Deepak Chopra said, I wish I'd have thought of it, but I'm not that clever by the margin of a million, right? You know, he says the brain is the greatest pharmacy in the world, and he's absolutely right. And
not only that, and this came up on a call that I was on last night, and I'm going to make quite a bold statement here, and I have difficulty fully believing this, but I wish I did, and I'm willing to if it turns out to be true. The guy posited that all healing comes from the body being in the parasympathetic nervous system state.
In the what? In the what?
Okay, so we've got the sympathetic.
Long word for lunchtime.
Would you like me to explain? So you got the sympathetic.
I would hang on before you do, because I can see a little nodding head here. So you can explain it to our special Wednesday guest as well, the fabulous Hatti Suvari.
Hello,
the lovely Hatti. How are you?
Hi, guys. Hi. I want to hear this. I really want to hear this, Neil.
We want to hear it.
So
the stage is yours, Neil Longie Long.
It's quite a bold statement, and there have been cases of people experiencing so-called spontaneous remission from things. That is undeniably true. And the scientists are going, how, because a lot of the scientists had given up on them and said, no, there's no more we can do. And then in some, albeit a few cases, there was this spontaneous remission. You could call it miraculous if you wanted to, and they're not sure how. So there's obviously been a lot of study into that. Now, you've got a sympathetic nervous system, which is like the fight or flight. That's when we're on edge all the time, running around, firefighting, being fearful, worrying about the future, blah, 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 blah. How much time do you think most people spend doing that? I'd say quite a lot.
Yeah, loads.
Right.
Loads.
99%, 98%, maybe.
At least 95.
All right, 95. All the same, if what I'm about to say is true, it would explain why so many people are ill a lot of the time. The parasympathetic nervous system is the opposite. That's the rest, the yielding, the healing, the rest and digest, and all that sort of thing. But the body cannot heal in the sympathetic nervous system, but it can in the parasympathetic nervous system. But you try telling someone who's had a frightening diagnosis just to relax and allow it to get better. That's the challenge.
You can't do. You can't. Just relax. It'll get better. You're right. I got to be honest with you, and I don't often speak. I try not to often speak about it because otherwise, it opens up the floodgates. But my late wife really was positive. I mean, she was a strong and very positive. We did our best. Now, this is sad. Barry J. Allen, Flash. Sorry, Russ, not been around. Mother, God's sake, what a month this is. Christ. Like the Somme. Mother-in-law passed away Monday night on top of everything. Barry, we send you our condolences from Liz, from Hattie, from Neil, Phil, Dave, all the gang behind the scenes on the Daily Show at Men's Radio. Barry, so sorry. Sue Sleet, up in Fife. Thank you for your good wishes. I'm recovering well, which is great news, although it is slower than I would like. But my friend, Ingrid and Dave, are keeping me positive. Yeah. And coming in from northeastern United States to you, Barry, Azadon Brown, Barry Jallen, you'll certainly be in my thoughts.
And all of ours as well.
It's and Sue Sleet is saying also condolences, Barry, sending hugs. Bless you. Bless you. It's Hattie, I know you're here as legal reasons, and we'll get onto that in a second because it's something that really interests the subject. Oh, here we go.
That will be a TikTok moment on my video. They get lots of hits when you and Neil start doing these things.
Barry, hope you're well, Russ. You've made my day, you French hunk of horn. Anyway, there we go. Now, Hatti Suvari, legal genius.
It's a bit fruity for lunchtime, all of a sudden.
Hattie, how many hits on TikTok have I had now?
Oh, I think we're nearly 4,000 on that one little clip where you're singing your jingle.
I'll do another one before the end for you, if you like.
This is what kills me. We put all our brains into it, try and be as he sings a song, boom, it's a hit. Fantastic. It's life, isn't it? Give the people what they want, not what you think they want. Give them what they want. That's what they want.
Like the old Roman sayings.
Ain't that the truth?
What?
Like the old Roman sayings when everybody used to be in the Colosseum and they used to give the people what they want. It's what they said on the Gladiator.
The Latin is panem et circenses.
Oh, that's very impressive, Russ.
Bread and circuses. What do they want? They want food. They want entertainment. That's what they want.
Yes. And I think it's one of the hashtags I put on that video, Neil, where I said hashtag something funny. And people just Google something funny.
Of course they do.
I just want to hear something funny.
Of course they bloody do, because we're all just struggling and everybody wants to be amused. Why do you think social media loves cats and dogs? They get like a gazillion hits because it's funny and it's not going to punch you in the face. Francois Pascal says, I've never been called that. I love it. With 3 kisses. So, Yabu sucks. All you wokies.
You were going to ask me something, Russ.
I am asking you. This is my question. And it's a huge thing, but it would only take 5 hours, but we haven't got it. I think we have 2 opposing views, myself and Neil. I think life is a complete random lottery. That's it.
I heard you say that earlier, yeah.
Neil thinks life is very intelligent and disagrees.
But when you went to see Deepak Chopra,
why you're here. What do you think?
I don't think it's a random lottery. I think it's what you make it. I think it's how you visualize it, how you see it, what you see through your lens. So what you see through your lens may be very different to what I see through my lens or what Neil sees through his lens. If, for example, this show, there's 4 of us here, we're all having different thoughts and feelings right now. So it's what it is to you. If you say life just happens to me, that means you're just being reactive to life. That's my
And you
view.
will experience life in that way.
In a reactive way. You're constantly reacting. You're reacting to the problems. You're reacting to the issues, the bills, the difficult situations.
And you will be in that sympathetic nervous system and never be able to do the healing, rest and digest. If you have a perception that life, no matter what
just happens to you. Yeah. You've got to... Sorry, I was just going to say, Neil, you've got to let you have got to happen to life. Don't let it just happen to you. There's always going to be the challenges, and it's how you view the challenges. And one of the things that I'm taking away massively from Eckhart Tolle, and I know you guys have heard me mention him before, is you to learn to be able to say it is what it is. Right?
Oh,
the situation,
you have to participate sometimes. It's as simple as, I'm really hungry. But if you're going to sit there and not even cook anything or eat an apple, then of course you're going to be really hungry. You need to do something with it.
And
don't let life just happen to you.
I think there's a slight misunderstanding. I just want to clarify. Then we get on to your legal stuff because I can't wait.
No, I think this should be the topic. I'm loving it.
It's this. I'm not suggesting that you just sit there like a sponge, like some sort of dummy, and let life keep hitting you in the face and you go, "Ooh, this isn't very good."
Pause
I'm not suggesting
for a second,
that at all.
But you are when you say it's a crazy, it's just there. So if you say it's there.
But no. 2 things running in parallel. All right, I'm just talking for myself. I'm not being prescriptive. I'm just talking about from my own perspective. 2 things. 1, I'm very driven. I think my gang knows that. I'm very focused. Yes. Still ridiculously ambitious. Yes. Still optimistic. Yes.
Love it.
Of course, all of those things. Totally so. But when the shit hits the fan, I don't think it's part of some fantastic plan. It's like, oh, crap. Now what? Okay, well, we'll get through this crap period, which I'm going through at the time. What's the matter? I'm
raising my hand because I want to say something, but I don't want to talk over everyone else.
No, go ahead. Neil Long wearing a suit. I think he does it for you.
I love it. I love it. Vaping in the car. I love Neil's backgrounds.
Right.
Sorry.
So if it's all about perception, we know people have different belief systems. All right. We can accept that, and different filters. All right. Some people, beliefs are strong things. People will experience beliefs as reality until they can see through their filter that it is just a belief, and that's not necessarily a universal truth for everybody. Okay. And at that point, people could start to reevaluate and, maybe discard some of the beliefs they took on growing up as childhood. One of which is the victim mindset, or the victim trance, if you like. And that's life is a random crapshoot and is happening against me. Okay, I am a victim to this.
No, you're conflating.
Am I?
I think we need a massive debate on this topic because it's very interesting.
Right, let's have it. We'll have it, but we've got to move on to you. You're conflating 2 things here. What I'm saying is the events, like my wife getting cancer or whatever it is, that's random. I'm not saying, oh shit, that's happened to me. It hasn't happened to me. It didn't happen to her. It's what happens. And what I'm saying, in an instant like that, Neil, it's no good looking for signs and portents and, looking at the entrails of doves on an altar.
No. And that's not what I'm saying either. All I'm saying is that belief systems are very strong. A lot of people, and I'm not saying you, Russ, but are in the kind of I'm a victim of life mindset.
Oh God, no. No.
Some people, like Hatti says, is life happening to me, or am I happening to life? Go Hatti. No. Or you could say all the events in my life are somehow happening for me, for a higher good. You could choose to believe that. All of those options are available to believe. It's a question of choice. Just
to add to that, Neil, I totally agree with that. Your mindset, and you guys touched on it earlier, your mindset is what it's all about. Your mindset, and I referred to it as your lens, but for me, it's the same thing. Your mindset will change how bad the bad is, if it's in bad at all, your recovery time, your recovery period, how you digest that, how you deal with it in your nervous system, whether it's that fight or flight moment, or whether you're just saying, right, I'm just going to acknowledge it. It is what it is. And I'm going to take first I'm going to take a minute at a time, then an hour at a time, then a day at a time.
Well done. Yes.
At a time.
Yeah. Bite-sized chunks.
If any of that makes sense.
That really
no,
helps.
it does. It does. Anyway, we got to get on to you. She's chatty, not scatty. She's the lovely Hattie. She makes the law fun. She's our number one.
So how do I make warranty versus statutory rights?
Out of commercial road.
Busting the myths and what you need to know. How do I make that sexy, interesting, and exciting without you guys? I can't. So this is absolutely a team effort. I want full cooperation.
You have it.
Okay.
I never thought I'd be hired to sex up the law, but there you go.
We're here to sex up the law.
I sex the law and the law won.
When we do that, we hopefully deliver it. We package it and deliver it in a way where people will think, oh, remember that. And that's all I want. I want people to remember these things. I love that.
He has been warned.
Yes. I want people to remember these things when they need them, because it can be a game changer. There's lots of myths about warranty and statutory rights. Most people don't even know what is meant by a statutory right. So the first thing I'd like to say, guys, again, I'm trying to jazz it up, okay, and make it sound interesting, is the difference between a guarantee and a warranty. Very simply, in one sentence, the main difference is that a guarantee is free and a warranty typically has a premium.
Yes.
All right. So 3 points to know about a warranty. Yes. With a warranty, it is not a legal requirement to be provided to you by the seller. Most people don't know that. They think, well, everything's got a warranty. The seller does not legally need to provide you with a warranty. If your warranty has been provided by the seller, then that forms a legal contract from the seller to you, assuring you that what you're buying is free from defects. And it is also a promise to you to rectify a faulty good by repairing it or replacing it, and typically lasts anything between 12 months and 2 years. So what do we mean by statutory rights, right? And I'm not saying you guys don't know what it means, but I just want to clarify what it means. So you may have seen
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. Do you know, Neil, what a statutory right is?
I see it on things all the time. Does not affect your statutory rights. I've seen that ever since I was a child, and I don't know what it means, but I feel I'm about to learn. So what rights have never been affected that I never knew existed?
Well, this is what's really interesting about this. It's actually quite funny as well, because we've seen it everywhere. I mean, it's on crisps, cereal boxes. It's even on like a shampoo bottle. You can return this. You can make a complaint about this, but this will not affect your statutory rights. You never read, actually, no one will have ever seen where your statutory rights would be affected. Because when you're buying goods, you're automatically protected by a number of laws, and retailers use that sentence. Actually, what they're referring to is the Consumer Rights Act 2015, but they use that sentence bizarrely because it's loose language that companies use without thinking, because you automatically have a right under the Consumer Rights Act. So your rights can't be affected because you've raised the complaint or you've asked for a refund.
No.
It shouldn't even be there. It's a no-nonsense statement. Our statutory rights are the minimum rights guaranteed to customers, to us as consumers, governed by our laws. And this right falls into, as I said earlier, the Consumer Rights Act 2015. So saying that your rights cannot be and will not be affected, it's factually incorrect.
Mm.
So
they're trying to.
I always thought that when you go to, not necessarily crisps or whatever, because you just think, oh, I like them or I don't. But if you're buying, say, a dishwasher, for example, and you think, well, to my mind, the most basic thing is you're protected under the Consumer Rights Act, as you mentioned. And equally, if it's not fit for purpose, so it's not washing your dishes, then you have a right to complain about it and to have some form of recompense, whether it's a replacement or a refund or whatever, because that's already in law.
Yeah, absolutely. So to say it's not going to affect your statutory rights, which are your minimum guaranteed rights in law, is a nonsense, because nothing can affect your minimum guaranteed rights in law. So the basic 3 points on statutory rights, just to bear this in mind, and I'm going to give you some real live examples that can actually be applied to everyday life that we've probably all been through. Okay, so your rights are governed by law. You have a legal right to a refund within 30 days for a faulty good, no matter what the retailer says. If something is faulty, you have 30 days. You have a legal right to a refund.
So Hattie, can I jump in and ask that you go and you buy? It doesn't matter what it is. Let's say you buy a kettle. I don't know. Pick it. I'm just using that as an example. It could be a microwave. Don't give a care. Don't care. Right. It doesn't work. You take it back to shop. You take it back to Long Electrical Limited. And they say, oh, you've used it. Oh no, look, and they give you every runaround. What do?
You have a legal right to a full refund within 30 days as part of your statutory rights. What you do is you say to them, Consumer Rights Act 2015, my statutory rights, full refund, and within 30 days, this item is defective. Thank you very much. Can I speak to a manager, please?
How far can you take it?
Exactly that.
It's a legal requirement. Thankfully, quite simply, the law takes over any retailers, any sellers, anything they have to say. Policies, this is our policy, this is what we're allowed to do. Because in short, what you just said is exactly what I was going to come on to. You often hear we don't offer refunds on defective goods.
Always.
Or we can only offer an exchange or a credit note, or even better, this is the one I love the most, you're out of warranty. Remember, your statutory rights protect you. Okay, because warranty does not have to be provided to you. It's not legally a requirement for the seller to provide you with warranty. And as I've already mentioned, as a consumer, you're automatically protected under your statutory rights. So even though a business is not legally entitled to give you a warranty, they cannot fob you off with their T's and C's of how they do business. Let me give you some examples of how your statutory rights cover you and bust some big myths, right? Apple products. We either all have one, or know someone that has one. There's over 1.8 billion Apple products in circulation, but most people don't know that if their Apple product becomes defective, i.e. stops working as it used to, starts to come up with defects, you're covered up to 6 years from the date that you've purchased your product.
What?
Yes.
6 years?
6 years. And just importantly to note, in Scotland, it's 5 years. Because you're protected.
They're Scottish, who cares? Why?
Hey, don't say that. Because you're protected under the Consumer Rights Act 24.
Under the patio.
Another show.
No, I don't care. Lovely mobile home. Lovely.
You are protected. Ow. You're protected under your statute. Put the claws away. I know that animals do well and all that stuff, but we're here to try and say
why. So Apple products 6 years.
If it's defective, if it stops working, okay. We're not talking about wear and tear, but it's chipped or the glass is cracked or on its own or whatever. Defective, stops working, starts to come up with defects on their own website, Russ. It tells you about your statutory rights, and it tells you that you have up to 6 years to make a claim on Apple's own website.
Anecdotally, people I know with Apple products, they have the runaround. They get the runaround, even if they bought it directly from an Apple shop.
That's why they're multi-billionaires.
If it's unresolved, I wouldn't buy anything again.
Well, they got sued in the European country because the devices kept slowing down.
May I ask a question?
Sorry. Yes, of course.
Thank you. It's this. There is a whole rumor that there is built-in obsolescence put in software, whether it's true or not. I don't know. Right. That as the new software comes in, slow.
They were.
All of us know that our computers get slower over years. Is that? Can we get our money back?
You just chopped up a bit there, but there is a European country where they collectively successfully sued Apple because people's products were slowing down. I had an iPad that I almost put in the bin because the new apps were not compatible with the software that I had running.
Don't put it in the bin. It makes a great
same
chopping
thing.
board.
But hold on, is that a defect? That's called evolution of the product, right?
Yes, it is.
Well, there you go. What's he stick? I didn't catch it.
I'm laughing because he said to you, "Don't throw your iPad away. Makes a great chopping board."
Mr. Technical himself over there.
Yes, I'll think about coming over to your house for a meal, Neil.
Anytime, Hattie.
Do you use your iPad as a chopping board?
My old one, yes.
Oh, well, there you go. Let me give you some interesting little points to remember.
Salads at Neil's house are fantastic.
Yes, because I made them.
Oh, there you go.
Precisely so. We know that.
Right. We're going over.
All right. Okay. So you freaked me out with this. I didn't know, Hattie. This is really this is all legal gold as far as I'm concerned. It's terrific stuff. So we've got the idea of the warranty. We've got the idea of the statutory rights.
Got the idea of the guarantee. Please. Yes. Let me give you some interesting points to remember, and I'm going to bust some myths now. Okay. So we've probably all at some point heard shop staff say you can only return that with a receipt. That is false. You only need a proof of purchase. So your bank statement or credit card statement, provided you obviously paid by those means, that shows your purchase would absolutely suffice.
Yes.
Okay. Sale items can't be returned. They actually go out of their way, these retailers, and have these big boards and signs. Cannot return a sale item. False. You have the same rights in the sales as you do any other time. So don't let them fob you off with that one. We only give credit notes.
Why is it? I've got to ask a question. Hattie, can I ask a question?
Yes.
I'm just fascinated that I am hearing this, and I think Liz and Neil probably will back me up or not. I'm hearing this for the first time. I've never heard this before. Ever. Never heard this before. It's extraordinary.
Wow.
It's amazing. We don't know. We've been conned.
I had heard quite a bit of this, but because I studied bits of law at university as part of my politics degree, and B, my mum, as Neil and others will tell you, is a great consumer crusader. So she made it her business to find out some of these finer points, like, for example, you don't have a receipt, you've still got proof of purchase on your credit cards and things like that. When she absolutely got going, if something was faulty and you were listening to mum on the phone in crusade mode, you would take cover because you really began to feel sorry for the hapless person on the other end of the telephone. But she always got it sorted.
That's what my children do.
It's because it's a pain in the bum to do it.
They either say, "Mum, are you going to return? We'll meet you in the store next door when you're done." Or if I'm on the phone, they say, "Please go into the other room and have your call." But you're right.
Can you imagine being Hattie's kids? Hattie's on full attack mode in a
my
shop.
eldest is 16.
Jeez, so that would be great.
So one day I'm going to have him tell his story about being my child and how he's had to listen. I mean, I've gone through hotels. Oh, I can't even say it. So, okay. So then what did we say? We said, if somebody says that they only give credit notes, they can't give you anything else. Again, remember, the retailer, the seller, does not make the laws. The law overrides them, and that is false. If an item is defective and returned within 30 days, the seller must give you a refund if that's what you would like. That's what our laws say. Full stop, period. One of the other very common ones that a lot of people have heard, I certainly have they've tried to fob me off with this, is you have to contact the manufacturer. False. Your contract is with the seller. and they are therefore legally liable to sort it out. So if
did that include all the flights? You know, when people booked all the flights before the pandemic, and everyone's trying to get their money back, and they're offering credit notes. Does that count for that as well?
By the way, I did so many podcasts during pandemic on actually flights and refunds. You don't need to accept a credit note. You don't need to accept a voucher. You can ask for a refund and get a refund because they're not your bank, right? So they shouldn't be holding on to your 300, 400. Sometimes it's a couple of £1,000 if you book for a holiday. It happened to me. I had to initial an online claim. They paid as soon as the claim was issued. It's done online. It's very quick. And they also paid the court issue fee as well. And the time I had to take to do that.
And so that makes things a lot easier these days. But, you know, a lot of people, they can't be bothered, you know, because they think, oh,
well, they don't know how to.
And it's not really.
They don't know how to, Liz.
Also, Hattie and Liz, it's so convincing when these, and it's a con. Let's be honest, it is a con. You can dress it up any way you like, but they're lying to you.
Well, they are.
Although they don't think they're lying to you, but they are lying to you.
But hold on. They can have their rules, but they can't override the law. And what they're banking on is your knowledge of being only what they tell you. No refunds, no returns on sale items. You know, all of this stuff. You have to have a receipt.
What about
we can't deal with it.
How do we get round? Let's deal with the sale item for a second because it's a common thing. There's a bloody great sign. You go into anything to buy some trousers.
Marks and Spencer.
Well, wherever. And it's got a big thing and it says no refund. And they will say to you, but you saw the sign. We made it very, very clear. You bought it under those conditions that we set. You still can get around it?
Okay. If you bought the item and the defect came about after you bought it. So say that it was sold as a damaged item. There's a big sign, damaged item, price reduced as a result. That's different. That's different, Russ. You can't say, I know that damage exists. I go home, I don't want that damage. If you bought it, you go home and then you see the damage or the damage occurs within 30 days, your statutory rights, which is what I keep banging on about, protect you. You go back to the store because the law, remember, overrides any retailer, any seller.
Yes. And that's probably that's probably the key takeaway from this, isn't it? No matter what the retailer tells you, the law, it's under that umbrella of the law, and that's the end of the matter.
Exactly right. And now I've often been asked by people, but what if the product is not faulty? Can I still get a refund automatically within 30 days if I've changed my mind? The answer is no. You can't get a refund. If the store says our policy is not to give you a refund, if you change your mind within 30 days, there is nothing in law that will come in and say, well, just because you've changed your mind, the retailer or the seller has to give you a refund. No.
After 30 days.
Within 30 days.
Right.
So you can't just change your mind and go back to the store and say, I want a refund. If their policy is not to give you a refund, then you're not going to get a refund. The law doesn't. Do you get that?
Let me just clarify that. So this is within 30 days. They have to give you a refund if it's faulty.
If it's faulty. But
if you just think, a bit of buy remorse, I don't want it anymore, then they don't.
Yes, exactly.
What if something doesn't fit? For example, Russ talked about trousers. You think, oh, yes, that's fine. And often during sale time, you can't use the changing room. So shut the changing room. So you have to take the item home with you, try it on. Trousers are too big, too small. Because you're not really changing your mind. It's not fit for your purpose.
It's not fit for your purpose, but it's not defective. So if it's not defective and they don't offer refunds, you are not entitled to a refund within 30 days. You're only entitled to a refund within 30 days if the item is defective and the store says we don't give you refunds. Our laws override that, and they will say no, it has to be defective to get a refund within 30 days. You've got the 6-year cover on anything if it becomes defective. This is why I mentioned Apple as one of the, because I've had Apple products that just fizzle out on, it's happened, I think, to everybody, either we know or it's happened to us. But where to get free confidential help and advice? Okay, there's a lot of these things. very long. CTSI, the Chartered Trading Standards Institute, which is www.tradingstandards.uk. They provide a wealth of free information and free advice on your consumer rights. So you can call up and say, look, this is what I bought. This is the situation. This is what's happened. Also, the International Consumer Centre.
Again.
Yes, tradingstandards.uk. Or the International Consumer Centre, free and impartial advice, ukecc.net. Both of those places you can get free advice and help from if any issue, no matter how big or small. You can call up and say, look, this is what's happened. So trading standards is just one word there. So it's www.tradingstandards, which is one word, .uk. So, yes, I hope we made it sexy.
Would you like a jingle? Would you like a jingle before you go?
Always want a jingle.
All right. So here we go. Here's the jingle. She is H-A-T-T-I. She is H, has your back. She is A plus knowledge. She is T, tells it as it is. She is T, totally equal. She is I. Think she rocks. Hattie.
Thank you, Neil. That's so original. That's so original. I love it. Listen, 10 out of 10 for original. TikTok sensation.
Unbelievable.
Here we come.
Hatti Suvari of Get Legally Speaking, thank you so much. Special guest Liz Saul, always a welcome addition. Neil, we don't know where you are, but getting ready for the coronation. You're outside Buckingham Palace, so you've got great parking spot. Well done. We'll be back on Friday. Hattie, thank you so much. And then, as I always say, trying to keep out of trouble. Bye, gang. Bye-bye.
Bye.